It's Saturday, January 1, 2022. You're now with me, Shoshaminato, for TVS Nightline. Let's begin with the headlines tonight. The Standard Operating Procedures, or SOPs, for Sarawak under Phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan (NRP) will be released tomorrow, January 2. According to the State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC), the detailed list will be available on both SDMC's website and the National Security Council's website.
On Friday, December 31st, 2021, Senior Minister of Defence Datuk Sri Hishamuddin Hussein announced that Sarawak and Kelantan will move to Phase 4 of the NRP from Monday, January 3rd, 2022. The move comes after taking into account the current risk assessment carried out by the Ministry of Health and National Security Council. Under Phase 4, workplaces in the public and private sectors are allowed to operate at full capacity, and face-to-face meetings and interviews are allowed with physical distancing in place. Formal ceremonies are also allowed with 50% capacity and physical distancing. However, entertainment activities in nightclubs or pubs, overseas tourism activities, sports and recreational activities performed exceeding the capacity, as well as any activity that could cause crowds to be unable to practice physical distancing, are still not allowed.
In light of the announcement, Sarawak will receive Phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan (NRP), which will commence on January 3, 2022. Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee (SDMC) in a statement said that the Standard Operating Procedures (SOP) for Phase 4 of Sarawak can be found on SDMC's official page and the National Security Council by January 2, 2022. On the number of cases, Sarawak remains on two-digit daily COVID-19 cases, with 28 cases on Saturday, making the cumulative number of COVID-19 cases in Sarawak to 252,328 cases. Kuching Division recorded the highest with 6 cases, followed by Sibu with 5, Lawas with 5, Limbang with 4, Miri with 4, and 1 case each in Simunjan, Serian, Samarahan, Lundu, and Kanawit. Other districts in the state did not record any new infections. At the same time, SCMC reported that 1 COVID-19 fatality was recorded on December 31, 2021, involving a 56-year-old man from Sibu. On the other hand, Deputy Chief Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Sim Kui Hian has called upon Sarawakians to unite together and to focus on economic recovery as part of the post-COVID-19 Development Strategy 2030, highlighted by Chief Minister Datuk Patigi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng. In his New Year message posted on Facebook, he urged the people to reject extremism to ensure that Sarawak continues to be strong and prosperous.
2022 will be a year where we live with the virus so that we can focus on economic recovery. It's time to get out to work, less politicking. It's time for us to focus CM Amanjo's post-COVID Development Plan 2030, in which there are 8 thrusts, including infrastructure, digital economy, as well as to raise the income of every Sarawakian so that we can fulfill our Sarawak dreams of a prosperous and rich Sarawak, a strong Sarawak that we are not going to be bullied by people, and an inclusive Sarawak.
He added, with the amendments of Malaysia Agreement 1963, it is a responsibility for every Sarawakian to take care of the state's rights and autonomy.
With the amendment of Malaysia Agreement 1963 in Parliament, it's time for us to work through diligently our rights and our autonomy. Like Adilan said, Jaga Sarawak baik-baik. Lastly, happy 2022, stay safe, the best of health to everyone, and together, let's make Sarawak great again.
The SIBU-KAPIT Express bus service, which began its operation today, is expected to further boost the ecotourism sector in the area. The initiative by Lanang Road Bus Company Berhad and Rejang Transport Sdn Berhad expanded the range of express bus services to Kapit. According to its manager, Chua Huat, the improved road conditions connecting Sibu and Kapit have enabled the express bus operator to provide a smoother travel experience.
Kalau banyak penumpang tu sudah saya orang tambah lagi sebab saya orang ada memohon banyak permit untuk pergi sana. Jadi saya akan tambah bahasa kalau banyak orang. Nanti masa depan saya orang akan direct lah kali ini dulu terus pergi Kapit pun ada. Itu belum lah nanti saya orang coba dulu saya coba jalan dulu. No? Nanti orang banyak. Sekarang kalau saya simpan banyak bas lah. Bukan orang tahu semua. Sebab saya orang komersial pun belum keluar booking banyak. Coba jalan dulu lah. Ini macam coba jalan dulu. Kalau nanti orang sudah tahu banyak, ada banyak penumpang, saya akan tambah bahasa.
At present, only 2 buses are operating between Sibu, Song, Kapit at 7 a.m., 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily for 22 ringgit per way. Commenting on standard operating procedures or SOP, each passenger is required to wear a face mask throughout the entire journey to Kapit. The express bus also offers cargo delivery service to Kapit. Once the 110-kilometer Sibu-Kapit road project is fully completed, more express bus service operations serving a similar route will be expected. Further details on the operations of institutions under the Education Ministry or MOE in Kelantan and Sarawak affected by floods or used as temporary evacuation centres or PPS will be announced on Monday, January 3. This was after taking into account the state of readiness of educational institutions in Kelantan and Sarawak to begin operations according to the dates they will begin their school session. MOE in a statement today said further information would be made known after taking into account if the institutions involved were ready to resume operations. Besides this, the ministry informed that the announcement on operations of its educational institutions for the third term of the 2021/2022 school session was effective nationwide, including those in Kelantan and Sarawak. Due to queries on operations for educational institutions in Kelantan and Sarawak, which will now move into the 4th phase of the National Recovery Plan (PPN) on January 3. In addition, operations for MOE educational institutions will begin on January 9 for Kelantan and on January 10 for Sarawak. Malaysia should have a master plan in place to deal with the recurring annual flooding problem, said Sarawak philanthropist Dato' Sri Ang Lai Soon. Ang, who is also Sarawak St. John Ambulance Commander, said an independent commission with professional engineers and experts should do a study on the plan immediately and present recommendations for implementation. Ang said in his New Year message here today that he was profoundly saddened to see the massive floods in several peninsula states which have taken lives and displaced thousands of victims. Commenting further, Ang said Sarawak and Sabah will soon be facing their annual monsoon, and in view of the extreme weather conditions prevailing everywhere, both states should be prepared for the destructive monsoon winds and rains.
Dalam kita membangunkan aplikasi yang memberi kesejahteraan kepada negara, ada yang menyalahgunakannya. Sejak kebelakangan ini, terdapat peningkatan ketara dalam penyebaran maklumat atau berita palsu yang boleh menimbulkan kekeliruan dan kegusaran di kalangan masyarakat. Ancaman berita palsu tanpa verifikasi sumber, fakta dan maklumat memberi impak serta implikasi negatif kepada rakyat dan negara. Sebarang penyebaran berita palsu akan dikenakan tindakan undang-undang serta didakwa mengikut Seksyen 505 Kanun Keseksaan dan Seksyen 233 AKTA Komunikasi dan Multimedia 1998. Denda maksimum RM50,000 atau penjara tidak melebihi 1 tahun atau kedua-duanya dan juga denda selanjutnya setiap hari kesalahan berjumlah RM1,000. Bersama, cegah berita palsu. Sebar fakta, bukan dusta. Tidak pasti, Jangan kongsi.
Bersama saya, Shani, di rancangan Tony Lapar, eksklusif di TVS, saluran 122, Astro dan MyTV.
Aku jabatan. Aku angol.
Weng! Weng! Pada benar-benar. Apa yang terjadi, Teh?
Seorang Wing ya nak?
Atau bukan?
Rasa aku tahu siapa dalam semua tu.
Siapa?
PA aku.
Asap guys. Itu dong. Cepat.
Welcome back to the Nightline. Faced with challenges and tribulations, including the onslaught of the COVID-19 pandemic and floods, Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob tonight called on Malaysians to create new hope to build a better nation in 2022. Inviting Malaysians to join him and the government towards this purpose, the Prime Minister said all parties should celebrate similarities and set aside differences to continue the national development agenda.
Dengan ketibaan tahun 2022 ini, maka bermulalah lembaran baru dalam kehidupan kita. Saya berdoa semoga tahun 2022 memberikan sinar baru kepada keluarga Malaysia.
Recalling the COVID-19 situation this year, Ismail Sabri said the pandemic had seen a daily record of 24,599 cases and 393 fatalities on August 26. However, various proactive measures implemented by the government and the people yielded results after cases began dropping to the figures numbering about 3,000 daily cases currently. However, he said looking at the increase in current cases in countries such as the United States, France and the United Kingdom, apart from the emergence of new variants such as Omicron, the government has taken several measures as part of our preparations to face any outbreak in the country. The government is focusing on seeking comprehensive long-term solutions to the flood problem to reduce risks and the number of affected locations in future disasters. Prime Minister Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this would be the main agenda of the National Disaster Management Committee once the post-flood operations are completed, and it would involve state governments, government ministries and agencies as well as experts in related fields.
He said the government would seek out whatever models that are suitable to resolve the problem, and if it cannot be implemented simultaneously throughout the country, focus will be given to districts or areas at high risk of flooding. Ismail Sabri said this plan for long-term solutions was discussed during the time of Barisan National Government, but it was not continued. Among measures that can be taken to reduce the problem of floods are implementing more flood mitigation projects, deepening rivers and other waterways like in Kedah, and building tunnels like Kuala Lumpur's Smart Tunnel for flood management in high-risk urban areas such as Shah Alam in Selangor. Modules adopted by other countries will also be considered if it is suitable for implementation in Malaysia, including the sponge city concept used in China to help slow the flow of floodwaters, or the river dikes of the Netherlands. Prime Minister also expressed his gratitude to all parties, including government-linked companies, non-governmental organizations, volunteers and individuals who had not only extended aid to flood victims but also participated in post-flood operations.
And now on to the next update. The government has decided to temporarily suspend Umrah travels for Malaysians beginning January 8 over fears of the COVID-19 Omicron variant. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the authorities were concerned that non-compliance with home quarantine procedures among returning pilgrims had caused the spread of the new variant among family members. Meanwhile, the suspension affects all new flight bookings for Umrah from today. However, Khairi said pilgrims living to perform Umrah between January 1st to 7th will be allowed to travel, but they will have to undergo quarantine at designated stations or hotels upon return to Malaysia. Khairi also said that pilgrims returning to Malaysia beginning January 3rd would have to undergo compulsory quarantine at designated quarantine stations or hotels.
Kebanyakan jemaah yang pulang dari mengerjakan umrah telah memohon menjalani kuarantin di rumah atau tempat kediaman sepanjang tempoh 7 hari kuarantin. Namun apabila berlaku ketidakpatuhan kepada prosedur operasi standard SOP yang telah ditetapkan, kes-kes positif COVID-19 dalam kalangan jemaah umrah telah menyebabkan berlakunya penularan jangkitan dalam kalangan ahli keluarga. Dan kita ada maklumat yang menunjukkan bahawa kluster yang saya sebutkan tadi adalah jangkitan daripada mereka yang pulang daripada umrah kepada ahli-ahli keluarga mereka. Ketidakpatuhan kepada prosedur kuarantin di rumah atau tempat kediaman juga telah mendedahkan ahli keluarga serumah atau jiran tetangga dan sanak saudara yang datang menziarah kepada jangkitan COVID-19.
Khairi said as of December 31st, 2021, there were a total of 32 cases or 50% of the 64 confirmed Omicron cases detected among Umrah pilgrims. Adding that there were also 9 clusters involving pilgrims as of December 30th, 2021. Khairi noted that a total of 966 out of 1,077 COVID-19 samples obtained from international travelers between December 21st and December 29 last year had displayed presumptive Omicron after screening by the Institute for Medical Research IMR. Following the matter, those who have made arrangements to go for the Umrah, including paid for the package, but are unable to go following the government's temporary suspension of travel permission to perform the pilgrimage will be refunded or their travel rescheduled. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said discussion was in progress between the Health Ministry and the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture or MUTAC, as well as the Umrah and Hajj Travel Agencies Association to assist the prospective pilgrims affected by the postponement.
Dan kita sedang berbincang dengan MOTAC dan juga PAPOH, Persatuan Agensi Pelancongan Umrah, Haji dan Umrah, bagaimana mereka yang terkesan ini dapat sama ada menjadualkan semula umrah mereka ataupun apakah langkah-langkah untuk dapat refund dan sebagainya. Itu memang kita dah bincang dengan mereka dan akan terus adakan libat urus dengan agensi pelancongan.
Meanwhile, Khairi said the MOH was studying the effect of the 2-dose Sinovac injection, followed by the Pfizer-BioNTech booster shot for the COVID-19 vaccination, which was alleged to show a low immune response against Omicron compared to other variants. Individuals who are eligible for the Bantuan Keluarga Malaysia initiative can register or update their information from today until January 31. Finance Minister Tunku Dato' Sri Zafrul Tunku Abdul Aziz said this was to ensure that those eligible and not reflected in the database could submit their applications, while existing recipients who had any changes in information would have the opportunity to make updates. He said the data of BPR and Special COVID-19 Aid BKC 2021 recipients, as well as the Geran Khas Prihatin recipients whose applications for BPR had been rejected, would be automatically brought into the BKM system for a cross-check according to the prescribed conditions. In addition, the data from other government agencies, such as e-KASEH, Social Welfare Department assistance, as well as residents of public housing or people's housing projects under the Kuala Lumpur City Hall and the Housing and Local Government Ministry, would also be brought into the BKM system. For more information,
applicants can refer to the frequently asked question FAQ uploaded on the BKM official portal as shown.
Starting today, the prices of poultry, eggs and vegetables will experience price reductions nationwide in an effort to assist the people in procuring the items at reasonable prices. Enforcement Director of the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs KPD and HEP, Azman Adam, said the prices of the items were adjusted as a measure to stabilise the prices of goods.
Mulai esok akan terdapat harga baru untuk skim harga maksimum keluarga Malaysia dengan mengambil kira situasi dan juga lokaliti. Jadi insyaAllah esok pengguna pun akan mendapat ataupun menikmati harga baru yang mana harga baru tersebut akan berkuasa mulai 1 Januari 2022 sehinggalah 4 Februari 2022.
For instance, the price of chicken will decrease from 9 ringgit and 30 cent to 9 ringgit and 10 cent, whereas the prices of certain vegetables will experience a decrease of 5 to 10%.
Dalam episod akan datang, Empresses in the Palace.
皇后有抬举她，她自然得宠些。
可齐嫔话多讨嫌，总不放过娘娘，真是讨厌。
她仗着家里有功劳，就这么瞧不起我。可这宫里的宠爱和位分，哪里是靠家世决定的？
哎呀，梅姐姐，皇儿，是我不好，到如今才来看你。
老姐，快去把里头的香料倒了。 这里头的东西可千万不能见人，记住，闭紧你的嘴。若香炉里的东西传出去，我和你都死无葬身之地。
Jangan lupa Empresses in the Palace, Isnin hingga Khamis, 9:30 malam di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Bersama saya Shani di rancangan Tony Lapa, eksklusif di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Kecemasan, boleh saya bantu?
Hello, there's been a motorcycle accident here. Maybe an elephant ran it over.
Sir, there is fire accident at the address number 5 Jalan Tembika Shah Alam.
PGO from FRT Shah Alam, there was no fire accident here, over.
MERS 999. Use it wisely.
Thank you for staying with me. And now on to our global affairs. At least 12 pilgrims died and more than a dozen were injured in a stampede at a Hindu shrine in Kashmir on Saturday morning. Authorities said all of the injured have been hospitalized and the stampede is believed to have happened as thousands of pilgrims gathered to offer prayers.
The disaster happened around 3 a.m. on the route to the Vaishno Devi Shrine in Kashmir, one of the country's most revered Hindu sites. One official said that there was a rush to offer special prayers for the new year. However, this was not confirmed by the others, while other reports suggested an argument had broken out between devotees. Rescue operations started immediately and the injured were taken to the hospital. Access to the shrine was halted after the stampede, but it was later resumed.
उसमें टोटल कोई 12 कैजुअलिटीज़ हुई हैं, तो उसमें से 3 डेड बॉडीज़ अभी हमारे पास पहुंची हैं, 9 पहले की आ गई थी, 3 अभी पहुंची हैं, तो बाकी जो इंजर्ड लोग थे वो श्राइन बोर्ड द्वारा रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन करके उनको नारायण हॉस्पिटल में कुछ को शिफ्ट कर दिया गया है और कुछ अभी शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं.
The shrine to Vaishno Devi, a manifestation of Hindu goddess Vaishnavi, is in the hills about 60 kilometers from the city of Jammu. Before the pandemic, about 100,000 devotees would trek up a steep winding track to the narrow cave daily containing the shrine to Vaishno Devi. Authorities had capped the number to 25,000, but witnesses and press reports said that this may have been exceeded several times over.
Now people gathered to hear the sounds of London's Big Ben ring in the new year for the first time since 2017 on the Friday evening, December 31, despite the surge in cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant.
Big Ben, housed within the Elizabeth Tower that adjoins the Houses of Parliament, has been subject to restoration work for over 3 years. Many people gathered onto the streets of central London, despite official advice to stay at home due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. While the government of Prime Minister Boris Johnson has not imposed restrictions on hospitality venues in England ahead of New Year's Eve, it is possible that they may be introduced next week to curb the latest wave of infections.
Hollywood icon and legendary actress Betty White passed away on Friday morning at the age of 99 at her home in California. Famous for her roles in sitcoms such as The Golden Girls and The Mary Tyler Moore Show, she was set to celebrate her 100th birthday on January 17.
Betty White was born in Oak Park, Illinois in 1922 and started her showbiz career during the 1940s. In 1985, White began her iconic role as Rose in The Golden Girls, which ran until 1992, and she has won 5 Emmy Awards for her work in television. Upon news of her passing, tributes poured in from fans who placed stuffed toys, flowers, and candles at a makeshift memorial over her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Celebrities also posted tributes on social media to the news of her death. U.S. President Joe Biden said on Twitter she was a cultural icon who will be sorely missed, while singer Dionne Warwick posted a tweet saying another brilliant talent has made her transition. In a youth-driven entertainment industry where an actress over 40 faces career twilight, Betty White was an anomaly who was a star in her 60s and a pop culture phenomenon in her 80s and 90s.
And that concludes TVS Nightline for tonight. And as always, thank you for tuning in to your local news tonight. Here with me, Charlotte Tomato, and I'll see you next time. Have a good beginning.